You write about Trump. Quote, the way that you build a truly vicious nationalist movement is to wed a relatively small core of belligerent idiots to a much larger group of opportunists and spineless fellow travelers whose primary function is to turn a blind eye to things. We may not have that many outright Nazis in America, but we have plenty of cowards and bootlickers. And once those fleshy dominoes start tumbling into the Trump camp, the game is up.
Well, following today.
Yeah, that's RFK J. And there's a string of people like Bobby Kennedy Jr., who at one point said very vitriolic things about Donald Trump and now have changed their tunes. Probably because they know that if you change your tune and you say good things about Donald Trump, you have a chance and you have a career to ride the coattails of one of the most charismatic and most culture-driven politicians of our lifetime. Donald Trump has dominated the news cycle every single day since he stepped down the escalator with Melania in the summer of 2015. And here we go with Anna Kasparian and the Young Turks commenting on RFK J and his latest, quote, scandal.
Senate Finance Committee vote to advance RFK Jr.'s nomination to serve as HHS secretary. A ton of news reports came out alleging that RFK Jr. had settled sexual misconduct allegations. We're learning more about how much money was behind those settlements. And we'll get back to those comments RFK Jr. made on the Ring of Fire in just a minute. That was the video we just showed you. But first, it's important to know that Mediaite learned that a woman who accused RFK Jr. of sexual misconduct back in 2020 was paid almost $1 million as part of a settlement that came along with an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. So according to Mother Jones, who also reported on the story, on Friday, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., responding to written questions from Senate Democrats, revealed information about his personal history that was not yet part of the public record. He had settled at least one case in which he had been accused of misconduct or inappropriate behavior. Kennedy also acknowledged that he had been party to at least one non-disclosure agreement, but in that reply, Kennedy provided no details about these allegations. He only offered a one-word reply when asked if he had ever been accused in such a fashion. Yes. Now, again, Kennedy didn't provide Democrats with a total financial amount.
Here we go again. A man who is trying to get confirmed, who has an allegation against them. Is it true or not? I don't know. It's a he said, she said. But it always comes up now. It always comes up when it's that moment. So it is tough to see when you always see it. Any man, Biden, Trump, Kavanaugh, RFKJ, Pete Hegseth. I mean, name the man at this point. Marco Rubio didn't have any. He's a senator. So they were like, hey, you part of the club, bro. We good. If he wasn't, they probably would have found someone for somewhere, somehow. Let's get back to the clip, Young Turks. The Young Turks are gonna talk about RFKJ. I'm just gonna be, I'm not even really against RFKJ. I mean, for the position at the HHS that he's looking for, I think that his idolatry of the blue and white flag of another country, it matters in any position, but doesn't matter as much there. So we'll see what he does. I actually support him for HHS. Let's get back to the clip. But I say that because I'm going to crash out on the top 12, stay tuned, the top 12 scandals of Bobby Kennedy's career.
Of these settlements, nor did he indicate that the misconduct or inappropriate behavior was. However, sources have told Mediaite that one of the women who accused Kennedy of misconduct worked with Children's Health Defense, an anti-vaccine nonprofit Kennedy served as the chairman of until he announced his run for president in 2023. The payout was a high six-figure sum, under $1 million, sources said. So it was close to $1 million, but it was under $1 million. Now, will Republicans care about these allegations, the settlement? We don't know. It depends on which Republican you're talking to. However, they might care about Kennedy's past ties to the Democratic Party. For weeks, conservative-leaning groups, activists, and policy groups have been privately sharing links to Kennedy aide Stephanie Spears' has social media and blog posts that show her support for Democratic causes. 3 people familiar with the messages tell Axios. So Spear, who has been referred to as RFK Jr.'s safety blanket.
Well, I don't know what year these allegations came out, but it does make you wonder, and I'm not saying I don't know what happened, but we do know that RFKJ is taking, I believe, testosterone, some type of testosterone supplement. Let me make sure I give you the accurate information. He's taking some type of testosterone. He's publicly acknowledged this, that he's taking TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, as a part of his health regime. And that can help you maintain muscle mass. And it also has, let's just say, adult, it gives you some adult motivation, I would say. That's part of it. I'm not saying that he did anything or didn't, but he does. And you've seen he's older now, and he probably lift more than I can right now. I mean, I'm struggling. I went to the gym and I was struggling, man. I just had 2 plates on and I was benching. I was like, man, this is sad. Let's get back to the clip.
Blanket serves as his executive assistant, scheduler and manager, and has known Kennedy for more than a decade. So she shares an interest in activism on environmental issues, and she has some skepticism on vaccines as well. Obviously, I mean, she works closely with RFK Jr. However, MAGA is concerned that she could potentially stray Kennedy from the Trump agenda to a more left-wing agenda. So are these 2 things at all tied?
Yeah. So look, couple of things. First of all, they found out that his close advisor was on the left. So was Bobby Kennedy. So where's the question?
Yeah.
What are we talking about here? And if you talk to MAGA guys, which I have committed the crime of doing, you'll find out that they're actually kind of proud that in their mind, it's not only right wingers, that Bobby Kennedy Jr. is an environmental lawyer, et cetera. And they brag about that. See, it's a big camp, and Tulsi and all these guys. Now, I think Tulsi's kind of always been an opportunist / right winger, but Bobby Kennedy Jr. was a real Democrat, and so was Spear, et cetera. So, okay, but it's not news. So when they're leaking that he's associated with Democrats, we already knew that. So, but they're trying to create anger towards him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and by the way, don't get me wrong, I don't believe him when he says, "Oh yeah, Senator Cassidy, vaccines and autism, no link. I don't know what you're doing." No,
they're gonna tell you what you want to hear.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do in the hearing. Let's do the top 12 real quick. Scandals of RFKJ. That's thought it'd be interesting to do. I mean, I'm not trying to. Some of these are kind of tough and creates a good story for him. In September of 1983, he had a possession arrest. He had that H. He was arrested in Rapid City, South Dakota, for possession of that H after he fell ill on a flight, and police found it in his bag. In February of 1984, he pled guilty to possession. And I'm more libertarian on that use of whatever you want to use. If you want to do that to your body, people do all kinds of crazy things to their body. They eat fast food. I do too. Whatever. Early 1994, he had accusations of infidelity. According to a 2015 biography, RFKJ had proposed to his second wife, Mary Richardson, while still married to his first. That's awkward. Emily Black, reflecting on an overlap of those relationships, the book painted him as a serial cheater, though RFK, let's be fair, vehemently denied these allegations as unsubstantiated rumors and fiction. That is, all of this, I'm going to say allegedly, reportedly. This is from people.com. In 2005, he wrote the article called Immunity, and he alleged that there was a link between if you were taking a Jabberwocky and having autism. 2021, he had more infidelity discussions, infidelity recordings, kind of like a Destiny, and adult diary revelations. During a rocky period in his second marriage, his wife, Mary Richardson, discovered a private diary in which he had listed, let's wait for it, 37 extramarital affairs over a decade. according to reportedly the independent.com. In a recorded June 2011 argument, Mary confronted him about it. RFK Jr. allegedly responded that he did it because he was being abused at home, deflecting blame onto her. Let's go on to 2015 tell-all biography allegations. Jerry Oppenheimer released an unauthorized biography. It was called Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the Dark Side of the Dream. Detailed numerous personal scandals. Talked about more infidelity. Okay, whatever. He's a guy. Breaking news. Guys sleep around. Family members denounce his anti-stance. That's not really on him, but it came out. Let's go to Instagram ban. Instagram banned him for spreading what they called false claims about the pandemic and the Jabberwockies. And he had that offensive comparison. Remember, people thought invoking what happened in Germany around 40. I forgot what year. I always think 42, but everything didn't happen around 42. But he said that even in the funny mustaches Germany, you could hide in the attic like Anne Frank did. That was a crazy one, but okay. Remember the ethnically targeted pandemic conspiracy claim? He had recently an alleged relationship with a political reporter, Olivia Newsy. And then remember dead beer cub dumping stunt. This is probably the most fun one. I didn't even get the brainworm one on here, but in August of 2024, RFK Jr. bizarrely confessed that a decade earlier in 2014, he had picked up an unalive bear cub that was unalived in a car accident and later dumped its carcass in New York's Central Park, according to the independent.com. He admitted on video that he initially intended to harvest the bear's meat and pelt, but when those plans fell through, he left the carcass by a bike in the park to make it look like a cyclist had hit the bear. While collecting roadkill was legal with proper notification to authorities, he did not report it, turning the incident into an absurd scandal when it came to light. That's kind of a funny one, but at the end of the day, I do support him. I will say that one of the people that I respect the most is Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, and he is not a fan. And it's for many reasons, substantive and some of those scandals as well. Let me know what you think. Where do you stand? The left is kind of shook on him. Well, he's still a leftist. So how do you kind of reconcile this? Let me know what you think, lefties. Do you still roll with RFK Jr. or did you never roll with him?
The next clip is ready below. Welcome to After Show Carnage.